So I'll give you a nudge and a support and a kick in the butt, but always with love, and never in a way that will discourage you truly, so that you don't forget to be inquisitive, and you don't forget to be open to the fuller meaning of yourself. And I will do this until you remember who you are, and the moment you remember who you are, together we will rejoice. And I won't be your teacher. I will be your brother, your full-fledged brother, whom you know intimately, infinitely. And so together we will experience our union. We will recognize ourselves in each other. And then you might say, we will learn of God. Because both of us will be fully available to the movement of creation in its infinite meanings, with none of it escaping our notice. And together we will be able to stand in awe of the incredibleness of the movement of God that we're not separate from in any way. Continuing, this is the opposite of the ego-oriented teacher's goal. He is concerned with the effect of his ego on other egos, and therefore interprets their interaction, what? As a means of ego preservation. You teach each other what you believe. Why? So that you can find mutual agreement with what you believe. And in finding mutual agreement, you get confirmation of what you believe, and who you believe you are becomes strengthened in your mind, and the one you have convinced has become your follower. Continuing, I would not be able to devote myself to teaching if I believed this, and you will not be a devoted teacher as long as you maintain it. I am constantly being perceived as a teacher, either to be exalted or rejected, but I do not accept either perception for myself. It may look like I'm a teacher, but I'm your brother. And I'm just being your brother. I'm just loving you. And love inspires. That in you which is divine, to remember what it knows. So that in you which is divine can come out of the closet, stand forth, and be experienced and owned and embodied. Continuing, your worth is not established by your teaching or your learning. Your worth was established by God. Or we could say, your worth is being established by God in every moment, because you are the ever-new living presence of a current and living God. Creation is now, not off in the distant past. Your worth was established by God. As long as you dispute this, you say, well, why would I dispute that? Well, you dispute it by not checking in with God, by not thinking about God, by not thinking with God as you engage in the simplest of relationships in your day. You dispute the fact that your worth was established by God in every attempt you make to establish it in the eyes of your brothers. Instead of saying to hell with what they think and letting your already existing worth shine forth for no good reason, not to teach anybody anything, but because you have no pleasure other than letting the capital M meaning embodied right where you are by God as an expression of Himself to be the only thing present right where you are, and letting the chips fall where they may. As long as you dispute this, everything you do will be fearful, particularly any situation which lends itself to the superiority-inferiority fallacy. Teachers must be patient and repeat their lessons until they are learned. But when there's love, it isn't really called patience. It's just called caring enough to express the truth until it registers. Because you know that there's nothing better than having the truth register and be known. Because the truth sets you free from your illusions. Teachers must be patient and repeat their lessons until they are learned. I am willing to do this because I have no right to set your learning limits for you. You see? I'm not here to influence you. I'm not here to control you. In fact, if I tried to control you, it will bring your ego into play, which is nothing more than a defense mechanism. So if I want you to make fast progress, I will not try to enforce anything on you at all. And that's the one thing your ego can't defend itself against. And it's the one thing that allows truth to remain where it can be seen by the Divine One that you are, because the ego has gotten no trigger that says, throw up a smoke screen and cloud this truth. From sight. Once again, continuing. Nothing you do or think or wish or make is necessary to establish your worth. And of course, those are all the things the ego does. It does things, thinks things, wishes things, and makes makes up things. But nothing you do or think or wish or make is necessary to establish your worth. This point is not debatable except in delusions. Your ego is never at stake because God did not create it. Your soul is never at stake because He did. Any confusion on this point is a delusion, and no form of devotion is possible as long as this delusion lasts. Again, you can't have a delusion about nothing. You can only ever be deluded about something. You can only ever have a false belief about something. So when it said this world is an illusion, it's a misperception of something that actually exists. It's a delusion you're experiencing about something real. The ego, continuing, the ego tries to exploit all situations into forms of praise for itself in order to overcome its doubts. That's its whole function, is to confirm itself. And it has to do that because it doesn't really exist. And in order for it to seem to exist, it is on a forever quest to confirm itself by convincing others that it exists and getting their confirmation so as to strengthen its belief in itself. It's a tremendous amount of work creating these infrastructures, these mutually agreed upon definitions, and you have no idea how much energy you're expending trying to keep them active, not only in your mind, but in everybody else's mind so that they can cooperate with it and confirm it. And not only that, the more complex it gets, the harder it is for you to remember all the rules you've made up regarding who you are and how things should work. And as a result, things begin to fall apart at the seams, because you are trying to keep too many balls juggling. The ego tries to exploit all situations into forms of praise or self-confirmation for itself in order to overcome its doubts. It will be doubtful forever, or rather, as long as you believe in it, or as long as you can keep those balls going around. You who made it cannot trust it because you know it is not real. The only sane solution is not to try to change reality, which is all that the ego has been trying to do, which is indeed a fearful attempt, but to see it as it is. You are part of reality, which stands unchanged beyond the reach of your ego, but within easy reach of your soul. When you are afraid, be still and know that God is real and you are His beloved Son, in whom He is well pleased. Do not let your ego dispute this, because the ego cannot know what is as far beyond its reach as you are. You all are so significantly different from the ego definition you've made up about yourself. All of you have had the opportunity to have a magnet and a piece of paper and some iron filings, and to have put the iron filings on the paper and put the magnet underneath it, and to shake it a little bit and watch the iron filings gather together in a pattern that show the lines of the magnetic field. And you say, wow, look at the magnetic field. Well, you know what? You haven't seen the magnetic field yet. All you've seen is where the magnetic filing, where the filings have gathered. If you were really seeing the magnetic field, you would see that the magnetic field extended above the paper and underneath the paper, and is a three-dimensional shape, if you will, of energy that you still can't see. The energy is so much more than the pattern that the filings let you see. You see what I'm saying? The energy of spirit is so much more than what you see. And what you see is not the energy, but the visibility and tangibility of it. So, please, walk out of here today. Or for those of you at home, turn off your computers and go out and be open to, be desirous of experiencing, be less defended against that of you which is so much more than the current definition that you're letting yourself see. Beware of teachers who teach with authority. Beware of teachers whose intent is to force change in you. Beware of teachers whose teaching process invades you and coerces you. Because those teachers think they're egos. And what they're teaching can only confirm the ego infrastructures, the experience of existence that one has with his or her back to the altar. And then beware of being one of those kinds of teachers. If you don't know what the truth is from God, keep your mouth shut and don't teach anyone anything. There would be amazing growth if every one of you did that, because immediately there would be silence. And there would be silence for such a long time that it would become intolerable to you because it is impossible for you not to be expressive. But if you're going to be true to the willingness not to teach something God hasn't disclosed to you, you will find yourself like someone who's not breathing, needing a breath, and you will come to the point where you will say, God, I really do want to hear you. I really do want to know the truth because I can't hold my breath any longer. I can't be silent any longer. And you will become defenseless. And the penetration will occur, and inspiration will occur, and you will have something to talk about and express. But you know what? It won't be to try to convince anybody. You know what? It might come out as a laugh that lasts 3 weeks. A laugh of such joy that you would never want to stop laughing. And after 3 weeks, those around you will have begun to laugh, and they will have laughed, and it will extend on out. Because you will have been teaching, and you might not even have noticed that you were teaching because you were just being the presence of God. And I promise you something. We can get together for a millennia of Sunday afternoons, and I will never run dry of ways to encourage you to look with innocence, to look with fresh eyes, to look for the unexpected, to look for that which goes beyond all of the mutually agreed upon definitions and the habits with which you've looked at everything that keep you from seeing with new eyes. I can do it. And you know what? I can do it happily. I will never get tired. That's what kind of teacher I am. And you know what? That's the kind of teacher you all are. If you'll just remember to bring that into play. And remember, you're always teaching. Do you want to be a bad teacher or a good teacher? Well, I want you to experience a connection with God where being a teacher of any kind becomes less important than being the place where God shines through, because that is such an inspiring and wonderful and, I'm going to say, mind-boggling experience. I must say it again. Wow! And I look forward to being with you next week. I actually look forward to your being with me a lot more during the week. Know that I'm with you. I'm just waiting